Right, here I am at Clouds Hill. Clouds Hill was the essentially retirement cottage of T.E. Lawrence, known to the world as Lawrence of Arabia. It's very close to Monk's Barracks, and I've been here before a couple of times. It's a fascinating place. His original books. The rest of the books in the room are reproductions and replacements and so forth. But I'm reliably informed by Judith, who is one of the guides here, that they are original. The ingle nook, with stainless steel and cast iron fittings designed and having been installed on Lawrence's design and order. And again, Judith has given me a small detail, which is that this is a toasting device that he had made. So he would use this, there being no kitchen at Clouds Hill, to boil tea, hang it over the fire, and toast with that and heat up beans and things. Right, this is the book room. Essentially a small bedroom with a large ingle nook fireplace, surrounded by books, and these days, of course, photographs, as this is a museum. Large bed. As you can tell, I mean, I'm over 6 feet tall, so the head clearance is not massive, but then Lawrence was about 5'5.5", which was a lot less than Peter O'Toole. This chair he had custom made for himself as a reading chair. I've always really liked it because you have these hard surfaces on which to place a cup of tea and a book stand, so he could just sit there comfortably and read for long periods of time. Another interesting detail, there was an RAF mat on the bed. He was an army man for much of his career, given the Distinguished Service Order for his actions in Arabia, and was promoted to Lieutenant Colonel. Much later on in his life, sick and tired of fame and being hounded and harassed, he changed his name and joined the RAF as a private, and he stayed in the RAF way up until his death, early death. Lawrence was a scholar, an archaeologist who was extensively experienced in the former Mesopotamia. He and a friend actually found several stelae in what was Mesopotamia, which became catalogued and placed in, I believe, the British Museum. I'm not certain on that detail, but was really very good at what he did. He had visited Petra and Aqaba way before the Arab Revolt. That's the Euphrates River, a gift to Lawrence from one of his old friends. These are some of the books that he himself wrote. The 7 Pillars of Wisdom is his account of the Arab Revolt. This is the bathroom. The bath and a few bits of furniture, but that's it. He had a water supply put in and set up a bath. He did not, however, set up a lavatory. He would take a shovel and walk out into the wilderness, do his business, and then come back. I always found that an interesting detail, laying in the water supply, but not a water closet.
See for miles, can't you? Yeah.
is the guest bed. Tuum, meaning you in Latin. Downstairs, his own bed had meum, meaning me. Pantry, mostly.
But we do know in this room in 1924.
One additional and quite interesting detail about Lawrence is that there's never been any evidence or accounts or anyone saying that he had ever had sexual congress with anyone, male or female, and is really considered to be almost asexual. A solitary man who found himself surrounded by people the majority of the time. I can relate. And yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 candles, not 4 candles.
Right, this is the top of the house, the music room. Quite a nice thing actually, because you've got the space up in the eaves.
That's actually a copy, but
That's skylighted, not original actually. It was quite dark, but this is where he wrote and relaxed and played music on the gramophone. On the day he died, there was an Elgar record on the gramophone, and he was personally acquainted with Elgar.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So I'm just leaving Clouds Hill now. In addition to being a published archaeologist with extensive experience all over Arabia, and later on in life published with historical accounts, he is of course most famous for his actions in the Arab Revolt in World War I, fighting against the Ottoman Empire. The Arab Revolt started in June 1916, but it did sputter out a bit at first, but then gained momentum, mostly thanks to the alliance between Lawrence as the British Army liaison strategist and all-round knowledgeable person regarding the area, and Faisal, who was the son of Sheikh Hussein. Together, they raided, they bargained, and they conquered, all the way up until late 1918. It culminated really in having taken Aqaba, which is now on the very apex of the Red Sea in Jordan. And that's his most famous achievement really, but for these actions, as I mentioned earlier, he was promoted to Lieutenant Colonel and awarded the DSO. And as viewers of the epic David Lean 1962 movie will remember, he was also awarded the Order of Bath upon his retirement from that position. He died in May 1933, riding his motorcycle at the age of 46 on that road, which we drive down, my best friend and I, every day.